Hello, my cuties and sweeties. So we're back at it again with some more enlisted. We're down to 3 days on the battle pass. And I think we're making good time. We should be able to finish it, indeed. We just need, you know, let's say 3, 6, 9, 12. And then we actually have to click get rewards. We can't forget that. My dumb ass loves to do that. I've done that before. I bet I've left gold on the table many times. Actually, kind of stupid. But anyway, yeah, it's battle hero and headshots should be pretty easy to do. Guess we'll go ahead and do these. Got a day left on him. One moment. Whoa, hey, whoa! Dropping my headset. Not intelligent. Okay. Oh, wrong guy. There's a prime location. That's scary. He's looking right at me. Oh, that's really scary. Fear my days are numbered. Oh, just kidding, his are. Haha. Get fucked, buddy. Ha! Shame I couldn't have my cake and eat it too there. Alas. Ah! My rally's gone. Well, that sucks. Alright, anyway, I was gonna listen to a podcast. We're gonna check out more of John Vervaeke's work from Nate Hagen's thing. That was super cool, so I want to check out more of his stuff. This one's called Why Reason Needs Spirit.
If you can hear me in the snack room, please come on by. We're going to get started here in just a minute with none other than Dr. John Vervaeke. I'm sure everybody knows Dr. Vervaeke's work by now. Such a deepening, necessary part of this ongoing shared fractal conversation. So I'm really excited to have him up here, and I wanted to do the no, 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 no thing, but I couldn't make a joke with that. So I guess I just did, right, yeah. Oh, you know what I'm doing, see what I'm doing there. These Zoomers, I tell you, God bless them.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Can I get a high sign from Sam? Are we ready to go? Oh, all right. So, without further ado, please welcome to the stage none other than Dr. John Vervaeke.
Kind of feels
Nice
like home.
rally.
So I've been sort of being cast in the role of speaking on behalf of science. And I'm happy to do that. Who and what I am is undergoing something of a change right now because of the philosophical pilgrimage. So I'm kind of a scientist on a pilgrimage. But I am going to try and do something quite ambitious, and maybe it'll be what Paul warned us against, an overreach. But a man's reach should exceed his grasp, or what is a heaven for? So I'm going to try my best.
That's a cool quote.
Instead of trying to go into deep, complex arguments, I'm going to try and gather a lot of stuff together. So I'm going to say something. Each point I make, I have an actual argument and publication pretty much for, and I can't do that. So I'm going to rely on, I'm just going to give you a gist, and then another gist, and then another gist, and another gist, and that's how it's going to go. Okay, so I'm going to be making use of what's called scientific idealization. Catherine Elgin, in her wonderful book, Good Enough, points out that idealization is crucial to science. We do lines of best fit, and we do frictionless surface and inertial motion and all this stuff, and you have to do that. And I'm going to be engaging in an idealization, and I hope you don't take me to be conveying, because I'm not, that everything I'm going to be talking about can go wrong. Okay, it can go wrong, like really wrong, and hurt people in deep and profound ways. And you know, we've bumped up against that. I'm not denying any of that, but I'm going to talk about the idealization, the ideal case, because I'm trying to do something, well, scientific here. Because often the ideal case is helpful for getting clarity about the structural, functional organization about what you're talking, about the topic you're addressing. So that's what's going on. I'm not denying. So if you want to criticize me later, I'll talk to you about it, but that's not what I'm going to be doing here. Okay? All right, so I don't know what to presuppose or not. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the core that I'm always working from. And some of you, this will be some updates, because it's changed from Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. And so I want to talk about predictive processing, this other thing you might have heard of, relevance realization, and 4E cognitive science. Okay? And I want to lay that out, because part of my argument is going to be that there is a paradigm shift going on in cognitive science and in biology, and that paradigm shift is much more culturally important than hoping that the paradigm shift is going to come from physics. And I think that paradigm shift is actually giving us deep ways to talk about spirit and fellowship.
That's awesome.
So I want to start with predictive processing. What is it? It's one of the big frameworks, and it is an attempt to address one of the meta problems. I'm going to use meta a lot. Live with it. Okay. Okay. So you're generally intelligent, unlike the so-called AGI that people are claiming we might have. And I can talk about that later, right? You are, intelligent in multiple domains, in multiple ways, for multiple reasons, in ways that are highly mutually predictive of each other. There's some general factor there, and the work I do, we argue that general factor is because you have an ability to solve two meta problems. Meta problems are problems you have to solve whenever you're trying to solve a specific problem. So no matter what problem you're trying to solve these two meta problems. The first one is anticipate the world. Anticipate the world. Everything else being equal, if you can anticipate the world better than I am, you'll solve all of your problems better than I do. Because you'll anticipate the tiger, and I will meet the tiger. And I'm dead. And you're laughing. All right? That's why you judge things that can anticipate with what Michael Levin calls a cognitive light cone. You judge them more intelligent. That's why you think a dog is more intelligent than a frog. Okay? So how do you anticipate? Because you're doing it right now. What's the next word? There you go. And that's what the machines try to emulate, by the way, the predictive processing and the large language models. Okay? So what's going on here? Now, what Carl Friston came up with, and other people like Andy Clark, my former student and colleague Mark Miller, is the idea the brain doesn't actually try to predict the world. And this is the first doorway to spirit. What? Hang with me. The brain doesn't try to predict the world. That's too complex for any machine. The brain tries to predict your body interacting with the world. So let me give you an example. I don't have to go to retina school. I don't have to do anything to learn to use my retina. All I have to do is open my eyes, light hits my retina, and there's patterns of nerve firing. Yeah? And do you get that those patterns change as I move around? That's a sensory motor pattern. There's patterns happening on the retina. So level right here. I suppose I should do this. Okay, this part directly interacting with the world. No learning required there. And patterns are happening here. Now what you have is you have a brain level just above that. And what it's trying to do is it's trying to detect patterns in here and complete them ahead of time. It's trying to figure out this is what the pattern's going to be. Now because this isn't the world, because the world isn't trying to help you. That's why trying to predict the world is really hard. But this part of the brain and this part of the brain, they belong together. And so this part can try and say, I think you're going to do that pattern, and this part can give it feedback and say, yeah, you got it right, or no, you got it wrong. Pretty easy. Now, if I try to walk a little bit faster than that across the stage, the sensory motor loop is too slow for me to do it. Can't do it. If I were to on the information to go down and come out, it's too fast. I bet you've all run faster than that, yeah? What happens is the cerebellum tries to pick up on patterns in the sensory motor patterns in my eyes, my legs. It tries to detect patterns and complete them ahead of time. And that's how I can do that. You understand? Does that make sense? It's detecting and completing patterns. Here's another one. This one will get creepier. So look at this. Look at this. You see that color? Yeah? How many of you can see the color? How many of you can see the whole color of the whole wall?
Dang it.
Okay, your eye can't do that. Your eye can't subtend all of that. What happens is your eye is picking up on little patches, and then a higher level in the brain is trying to detect and complete a pattern. So now I'm going to say something that I hope lands for you. You're mostly imagining that wall. You're mostly imagining the floor. As soon as I say that, it sounds like, you know, and some people use, I hate this, it's a controlled hallucination. You know the defining feature of hallucinations? They're false. This isn't false.
Damn it.
You know what an important property of predictions are? They can be true. True prediction. Okay? So we need, and so Henri Corbin came up with a really powerful distinction between the imaginary. So imagine a sailboat in your mind. Can you do it? Picture in your head? Are the sails up or down? Put your hands up if they were up or down. There you go. Okay. form a little picture and la 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 la. Turns out that's not very important, even though that's what we think imagination is about. How do we know it's not important? There's at least 5 to 10% of the population cannot do that, and they don't suffer at all. Now, that's imaginary. I want you to compare to a kid who's putting out their arms, ties a little a blanket around them and goes, "Shh, I'm Superman." They're not forming a picture of Superman. They're trying to see and be in the world the way Superman is. Do you see the difference? Everybody does that. Because that's very important. That's indispensable to cognition. And I'm going to show you that. And what I'm trying to show you is your experience is already deeply imaginal. So what the European Enlightenment gave us this idea that there's reality. You got to hit surfaces very hard when you do that. And then there's the imagination. And here's the scientist. And here's the romantic poet. And that's pretty much all bullshit. Okay? These dichotomies, if I can do one thing here, I want to smash the dichotomies. Okay, so right from the beginning, notice it's imaginal, and notice two things. The brain is modeling itself to model the world, and whenever it's modeling the world, it's modeling itself. I'll do that again. When the brain is trying to model the world, it's modeling itself. Your modeling of yourself and your modeling of the world bleed into each other. Your detection of the world and your anticipation of the world bleed into each other. You are porous. All right. Now the other part, and they're interlocking. The more I anticipate the world, you know, the more the problem I face, the more information I have to process.
Oh shit.
And you hit on, how many of you have not heard me talk about relevance realization?
Oh, I totally missed
Okay. The amount of information I can pay attention in this room, all the ways I could direct my attention, all the possible combinations is greater than the number of atomic particles in the universe. All the possible ways I connect the information in my long-term memory, like I could think about aardvarks, and then I could think about Archduke Ferdinand in World War I, and perhaps that'll lead me to think about bauxite mining in Australia. All combinatorial explosive, all the possibilities I can consider, right? All the possible inferences of everything I pay attention. All of this is combinatorial explosive, and what you do is you ignore most of that information, you're oblivious to it, and you find obvious what you should be thinking about, what you should be remembering, what you should be inferring. Do you do it perfectly? No, because you can't. Because here's what you don't do. You don't check all the information to see if it's relevant or not. You somehow zero in on the relevant information. And you do it reliably. And the LLMs don't give us any explanation of how you do it, because they're completely dependent on us. We generate the relevance relationships between tokens. We generate the relevance relationships in the data sets. We generate the relevance relationships on the internet, and we generate the relevance realization in the appropriateness judgments when we're training them. They explain it non one iota. Doesn't mean they're not dangerous. Okay, so we are constantly doing that. What's the basic idea? Predictive processing is trying to anticipate the world, and it hits a dilemma because it hits trade-offs. Trade-offs is as you try and go one way, you lose on the other. So should I stay here and try and survive? It's familiar. That's got an advantage to it. But there's also diminishing returns. Should I go and explore? Well, that's dangerous and precarious, but there might be huge benefit. So what should you do? Explore or exploit? Yeah. Right. They're trade-off relationships because you should do both, but each comes at the expense of the other. So what happens is,
of course, the other guy gets to
processing
live.
is trying to reduce you being surprised by the world. It hits these trade-offs, and it evolves opponent process. This is at the heart of relevance realization. You have your attention is doing it right now. Part of your attention is trying to focus on me. It's called the task focus network. And another part is mind wandering. You're going off and thinking about other things. And what happens is most of those are useless. You kill most of them off, but you keep a few and you come back and you change how you're paying attention. Then you wander off, then you come back, and you're doing this opponent processing. Left and right hemisphere. Left, familiar problems, well-defined. Right hemisphere, ill-defined problems with novelty. Back, should you just do one or the other? No. So you have two hemispheres and they do opponent processing. This is all through your biology. Opponent processing. What you get out of opponent processing is you get what Merleau-Ponty called an optimal grip. So, how should I look at something? There's trade-off relationships. Should I look at it like this? But when I look at it like this, I can't be looking at it like this. But when I'm looking at it like this, I can't be looking at it like this. How should I look at it? You do opponent processing until you get the best grip on the situation that is relevant to the task at hand. And I want you to notice something else, how that's imaginal. Do you actually ever see the bottle? Are you sure? Do you ever see the bottle? Do you ever see the bottle? You're actually doing this ongoing through line through all of these different ways, we call them aspects, that it could be relevant to you. That's imaginal, but it doesn't mean it's false. So you're forming this optimal grip, connectedness. And then what you're doing is you're often standing back and you're considering potential optimal grips, and you're trying to take the best stance that will give you the best availability to all the optimal grips. That's like in fighting, like Jeet Kune Do. I don't fight with this. This is because this is good for jab or hook or back fist, however I need it. The stance is like, here, another one, it's a meta-optimal grip. That's your orientation. You are orienting right now. And Kant discovered a long time ago that before I can do any argument, any reason, any categorization, anything, I have to be properly oriented. He got really perplexed. I bet you didn't know this about Kant. He got really perplexed between my propositional description of my left hand and right hand are identical. And he realized, but they're different. And I need something other than the propositions to distinguish my right hand from my left hand, and he didn't have such a thing, so he said it was feeling, and then he put it aside. Okay, so you're orienting, you're optimal gripping, and all of this is way before you do any categorizing, any reasoning. Okay? That's relevance realization. And I use a term for that, orienting, optimal gripping, connectedness, religio. That's what it means. It means connectedness. So you've got this connectedness and relevance realization, and so you've got anticipation, relevance realization, connectedness. It's inherently imaginal in nature. It's constantly evolving. Now let's pay attention to the fact that this imaginal is actually indispensable to you being rational. Before you can you have to be able to be aware of your own cognition. It's called metacognition. So I can ask you, what are you thinking about right now? Presumably you can answer me, yes? You ask a 3-year-old, 3.5-year-old, what's in your head right now? They'll tell you blood. Like, you have to develop that skill. It takes time. Okay, now here's the thing I want you to think about. That space you go into to look at your own thoughts, is that a physical space? No. Is it just fictional? Unreal? No, because you actually get real knowledge that you absolutely have to have in order to become reasonable. That space inside your head is imaginal. It's imaginal. And it helps you get an optimal grip on your own cognition. What about your relationship to your future self? If you're going to be rational, you have to do things now for the sake of your future self. Is that future self, is it physically real? Well, no. Is it merely fictional? No, because that's not right either, because if you don't pay attention to it, you're dead. So what is it? Oh, it's imaginal. Sometimes I have to think really.
Why did it take me to that screen? That's so weird. Like, okay. Alright, though, we did pretty good. No battle hero, but I mean, hey. Anyway, these next ones are going to be really easy to farm off screen, so I will do that. We'll go ahead and clock into my job and do some off-screen farming. Anyway, this thing that I'm listening to is super cool. I'm really liking it, so yeah, definitely gonna keep checking that out. Oh, sorry. Oh. Anyway.